Everyone. So we are continuing with the beginning of the second parak, the second chapter, Mishnah 1, and we're going to actually just finish off the discussion from yesterday regarding choosing the path, which is Tif'eres la'oseho and Tif'eres lamad hadam, which is glorious, translation, glorious, praiseworthy for you, and also brings glory or honor from others. Basically, you're happy with it, and others as well. We mentioned yesterday there was an angle that was talking about that Hashem is happy with it, and people are happy with it. And most commentaries are understanding it as it's actions that you are happy. And so we covered a number of commentaries yesterday. There's a few more I want to share. One of them is from Rashi, who takes it on a very basic level. Choose a path that you'll feel good about it, that you'll feel that what you're doing is good, and so will other people as well. And he talks about the idea that if after you did something, you don't regret it, then that's a sign that it was a good thing. Many times we do things, they're maybe wrong, but we enjoy it, and therefore we do it. But afterwards, when things are calmed down, we say, I really shouldn't have done that. Whether it be I drank too much, I ate too much, I did this, I said that, I said something, I did something, whatever it is. So Rashi said, after the fact, if you still feel good about it, that's a good sign. And other people also the same, how they're reacting to it. Another important angle is brought down by the Bartanura, which is that when you take different actions and different things, the middle path, and so, for example, and I think we've used this example in previous classes, the idea of the balance between being stingy versus being too generous. So, on the one hand, when it comes to sharing, whether it could be your time or your money, but money may be a little easier in terms of if you are, some people are miserly, they don't give away anything, right? And again, it could be with time as well, that I'm only going to do for me, I'm not going to do for anybody else. That's obviously not a good thing. On the other hand, if you do too much, you go too much the other way, then you can end up, from a financial perspective, if we give too much away, then we don't have for ourselves. And that's why the sages put a suggested limit on how much a person should give, right? Minimum was 10%, but there's a maximum. There's a maximum of 20% that your average person should not contribute more than 20% of their income, because we're concerned that you're going to become the person on the receiving end. You're going to need for other people to support you. We don't want that. We want you to be able to support yourself. So they put a maximum. Now, that maximum, by the way, only applies to your average person. If you're making so much that you're always putting it away, you don't need it, then sure, give away more. But the idea is there's a balance. And that applies with many, many different things that we do. Another idea about that is that what do other people think? A balanced path in terms of sometimes we do things and people have to, other people, what do they think of what you're doing? So you may think it's good, but everyone else is feeling like, oh my gosh, what's this person doing? This is not very nice. It's not good for us. So it has to be acceptable to the community as well as to Hashem. One example is, let's say, if someone's doing, you want to do mitzvahs, you want to be a righteous person, but sometimes when you do certain things, other people suspect you of ulterior motives. Oh, that person, maybe they're phony, or maybe they're trying to get something. That's a problem. If you're imposing your standards on someone else, that they also have to do it, that also could be viewed as a negative by other people. So that could be a problem. An example of using the tzedakah example. So if you give, let's say, we know there's an idea that when it comes to giving tzedakah, we say matan b'seiter, to give it hidden, that people shouldn't, we shouldn't know who's giving it. There's an idea, right, that we shouldn't know who's giving it and give it anonymously. However, what if you do everything anonymously? Then what are other people going to think? People are going to think, oh, look at that person who never gives. That person never gives. and that could be, now depending on who you are, that could be a chillul Hashem. That could be like, oh, look at this person who's the rabbi or whatever, right? And they never give anybody anything. Right? In the meantime, you're being so good, you're giving it all secretly, right? So that's a problem as well. Um, on the other hand, uh, they may also think, oh, if he doesn't give, I don't have to give either, right? So if this person, and especially if you're wealthy and you're giving everything away secretly, so very nice, but everyone else is going to say, hey, if he doesn't have to give, I don't have to give. So these are areas where a person has to be careful. Um, the Tiferes Yisrael looks at another angle, and he says that in general there are three areas that a person you work on yourself in your life, how you conduct yourself. So one is your obligations. Your obligations are both to God and to other people. And those mitzvos, those are the mitzvos. The Torah tells you what they are, and those are your obligations. That's one area. Another area he talks about is midos, your character traits, which it's not so black and white exactly how to conduct yourself in many situations, but we can learn from the Torah. We learn a lot of lessons in how do we conduct ourselves, and when it's appropriate to be a little bit more upset with somebody, when you should be calm, arrogance, humility, anger, all of those, tolerance, right? All of those things are things that we learn lessons from the various stories in the Torah. So it's a balance between your obligations to others and to yourself. Sometimes you are going to do certain things which are going to be for yourself at the expense of others. Well, you have to be careful with that, right? So then the third area is derech eretz, which he talks about derech eretz, not so much in terms of other people, but just things that are affecting yourself. And that could be basic personal hygiene, your clothing, how you conduct yourself in private type of activities, how you eat. Do you eat like a glutton? Do you eat nicely with a knife and fork? Uh, all kinds of different actions that you do on your physical self for the most part. But when you do certain things, there are other people who are also seeing what you do. So for all of these different types of things, he says, choose the path that you're going to find that also, when you look at it afterwards, it's appropriate, because the action that you're going to do has to be appropriate for yourself, but it also has to be from everyone else's point of view as well. And when other people see you, how you eat, let's say, or the clothes that you wear, when other people will see, oh, look, I want to be comfortable, so I'm going to dress a certain way, right? Is everyone else going to say, oh, look at that schlump, or something like that? So that is a factor as well. There are some, you have to present yourself to others. So all of these, though, are nuances, because they're not absolute. They're going to be dependent on where you are, who you're with, what's the situation, right? And so, well, when you're going to play, I'm going to take the dress, right? If you're going to play ball, you're going to wear a t-shirt and maybe shorts or sweatpants or whatever. And if you're going to a wedding, you're not going to wear that. You're going to wear a suit. So there's a lot of different things about knowing where you are and who you're with and what the situation is. And all of that, you have to find the balance. And finally, one other thing he talks about is the idea of having, when you're doing a mitzvah in particular, that we want to do things, we do it nicely. Anything you do, actually, you want to do it nicely. But certainly when it comes to a mitzvah, we have special things to, we're going to have our Shabbos table is going to be nice. We're going to have a nice plate for the challah, a nice kos for the wine. We're going to have for an esrog. We're going to get a nice esrog for Sukkos. We want to have the nice when we do a mitzvah. But at the same time, why are you having that nice thing? Are you doing it because you want everybody to see, oh, look at me, how I'm doing it for nice, or are you doing it because you're doing it for the purpose of the mitzvah? So again, to have the mindset that when you're doing something, is that you're doing it for the right reasons, and you're having the purpose of the mitzvah in mind, as opposed to merely doing it because I want to show off to other people. So these are a couple of different ideas in terms of all the balancing we need to do when we are making decisions in the conduct that we are acting on basically on a daily basis and almost a minute to minute basis. Everyone have a